Hello and welcome back to Rough Mix Podcast. I'm your host Esteban, producer name Trunks. We got myself to my left.
I'm Victor, and my producer name is Izzy V.
Jordan, aka Coach Koopa.
Cool. And we are the Rough Mix Podcast producers, missing Eli, mystery, but he had to leave early. We just shot a podcast before this, so we're just shooting 2 in 1. But he had to leave. But we'd say let's just go ahead and shoot another one. Because it's kind of hard to schedule all of us together. Yeah. So might as well take advantage.
All of us aren't producers, so we've got pretty much the main three, other than Eli, who had to step out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And if you guys have listened to all the other ones, I'm sure by now you know, because that's what we say in every episode.
Yeah. So on today's episode specifically, we're going to be talking about how to become a better producer, by listing off tips or different. Basically tips. It's all going to be tips pretty much. It's all
general.
Basically our approach to how we became a better producer, how we're going to develop in the future.
Yeah, there's tons of YouTube videos that show tips, but I think this is an all-in-one to learn everything all in one place.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
I think so.
I feel like the topics we have are I'd say they're a major necessity on how to develop, at least to become a better producer.
And this is definitely a good reference point to producers like me who are coming in who don't know anything about engineering, but see how a producer who knows nothing about engineering is talking to these people who are basically 3 or 4 years in sometimes.
Yeah.
Some people, and it's just a good way to learn.
Yeah, I mean I've been producing for 3 years. Vic's about another 3. Jordan's 3. I think we're all about 3 years.
2.
2 years, 3 years.
Well, yeah, producing 3, but everything else, I'd say 5 years.
Oh, because you rapped before?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm retired. I'm a retired rapper. I'm
rapper.
definitely retired.
That's a lie. I've seen his stuff that he recently just showed me. So.
True.
Sauce in the vault.
Yeah. So I think the first one is probably our production tips, stuff that we actually use in the DAW. I guess is, a way to either evolve the way you start off making beats, or evolve the way you start thinking about making beats. But I think the best way to kind of start it is maybe I'm going to go ahead and say Jordan could start this, because he's the one that actually makes melodies. Because I make melodies, but I'm not going to say I'm good at them. I know Jordan's good at them. I know he sends me loop packs of 300 loops, and I'm I can't make that. I probably never made 300 in this whole time.
It's very recent. Like I said, I'm coming up from 2 years, so a good 6 months was getting past the learning curve. Which, by the way, producers who are just stepping into this world, who are getting to every platform and trying to get info from every outlet, definitely if you have that sort of set of, oh, I want to make music, but I feel it isn't right for me, just because you're at that learning curve and not knowing how to use the tools, just get past it. Just keep grinding, keep your head up, and just keep learning. But yeah, so it was a good 6 months of learning how to do everything on FL, because FL is what I use. And then I'd say only in the past 6 months, because after that it was just creating and seeing what works and developing my sound and everything. But only the past 3 months I've been able to create melodies consistently and know how to make an art from nothing, and just do different things. And I think that's what really helped me right now. But I'm in no way a pro.
I'm not saying you're a pro, but I'm saying it's definitely out of everybody that I've worked with, at least you're the one that knows how to really start making melodies. People just do chords, but you're out there, you'll play it and hear it, and you're this kind of works, and then you start putting
building
in notes.
Off of it.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying by that, because when I started off, all I did was literally just play. I didn't know. I mean, this is never mind. I'm not even gonna get into the music theory thing, but just typing, tapping on your keyboard, or whatever, a key or two, and be that's how I started. And then if not that, I would just put I used to just push down 3 keys, and if it sounded good to me, I'd use those 3, and then build off that. And that's how I did it. But you kind of already, you hear a sound, and you're all right, I know how this kind of goes or something. I feel you're pretty good at that. So that's why I was do you have any tips with people on melodies or something?
On melodies, I hear a lot of figure out a scale. So I know in FL Native there's a way where basically you can have ghost notes on and you can basically like put down scales, any scale you want, like minor, major, diminished, augmented, a Japanese scale, whatever. So definitely get down your scales first. Not even learning them, but just have one that you play in if your ear isn't like tuned off the bat. Because it took me a while to tune my ear. Like I wasn't able to tune 808s. I wasn't able to like keep melodies in tune or in key for that matter. So I'd say like someone just starting out on melodies that needs help with it, make sure you have like a scale down if your ear isn't developed. Because I haven't used scales for a while just because I know what sounds good.
Do you know music theory?
No, I've never learned.
Just by ear?
Yeah, just by ear. I mean, busy works beats school.
Yeah.
That's like the only thing.
But like for FL, if you don't know music theory, what you're talking about, that the ghost notes, the whole thing where you could do the augmented, diminished, major, minor, like that's big. That's a big tip, I would say.
And like I too, because I fucked up. I saw before I knew about that like whole scale thing, I was using like Scalar. So like I actually bought Scalar for like what, $40-$50. Started using that, which that comes with a lot more features, but like really all I just needed was scales. So if you know, especially just getting into this thing, you don't want to invest all this money to something you may or may not continue or make money off in the future to begin with. So definitely use these little cheat codes. Like,
would
the
you
FL Native.
recommend Scalar?
I'd say yeah, because I don't use it, but like I can see how someone could use it really, really effectively.
Because I just got it.
You just got it?
I just got it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really dope. It's just, I don't know. I haven't tried it. Like, I haven't really started making like chord progressions as heavily. I've been doing like a lot of just like starting it off from the melodies and then making the melodies sound cool and then adding keys to those. So, which is a totally different process. But yeah, Scalar is definitely a cheat code for sure.
You'd say Scalar's like different than you be able to, you know how in FL you could choose like what kind of key or what kind of chord,
What mode you're
yeah,
in?
what kind of chord you want to do, and it does it for you. All you do is click it and it puts it in for you. You think that's easier than Scalar? Like I'm just saying from like, is it really that much different from spending $50?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because with the FL Native one, it allows you to place down the scale map.
Yeah.
And on Scalar, you can do chord progressions together, and it shows you not only what they're called too, like C major seventh or something.
Yeah.
But it also like it allows you to put it between octaves. You don't have to like build it straight from the start. You can just pretty much drag and drop your chord progression, and then drag that entire chord progression onto your MIDI or onto that instrument you have like opened or whatnot. So that's how like it basically is a cheat code, because you pretty much like, instead of creating your own chord progression, you've chosen like the options in front of you. You know?
I know people who I seen a YouTube video, people on they'll use like Splice, and they'll get like chord things or like loops, the loops, and they'll throw them into Scalar, and then Scalar will like scale out how those loops were made, and then people will like make their own based off of the sound.
I had no idea it did that, by the way.
Yeah, and because it
might have to use that.
Does it build off like off that scale? It builds it off another like loop.
Yeah,
or
like it'll suggest chord progressions based
oh
off
wow,
of
that's really cool.
Yeah, like I know people who do that, and like so they'll throw in like something, and like they're so against loops, so then like they'll change a few little things.
Oh yeah. Oh okay. Well,
Which I just want to clear up, because it like triggers me every single time. But when people are against loops, I say they're okay for the most part. But if you're collabing with someone, especially me, don't ever send me loops. I don't care. Don't ever send me loops. I'll let you slide by with like a perk loop, maybe.
yeah.
But when you're collabing with someone, that's like time to like show your skill. So like if you're going to be a better producer, like we're trying to get into, like make sure when you're collabing with someone, like you're showing your skill. Like you're like trying to be as creative as possible with it.
What if it's a live hat loop?
Oh,
Because no, this is serious. Because I hate it. I hate loops too.
I don't hate them, but
I don't hate them. But sometimes I think it's cheating. No offense if you're using all that stuff, but you're not as creative as you could be by using loops. But I don't feel that for like actual recorded sounds, because those sounds you can't get them.
Yeah, because
You
they're
can't
live.
play them. You can't
They're not
play 'em.
emulated.
That's the only reason
Even
why.
as
Like,
close as, even if you put swing on it, it's not gonna be as real.
I mean, it depends on the situation. I agree, but as far, I mean, like, unless that, I think it all depends person to person when it comes to the whole loops debate. But I'm just saying, from my standpoint, I don't like collabing with people who use them. I don't mind it all depends. It all depends on the song, what we're trying to make, and whatnot. But just in general, if you are just trying to start out a beat, just basic, you don't even like know where you're going with it. Just like, hey, you're sending melodies back and forth. Don't include loops.
I
So-
agree.
So just to get it clear, what is your production tip? Is your tip is it scalar? Is that your tip?
No, well, you went for melodies, right?
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
what
Your
was it?
melody tip.
Oh,
Because I'm just saying melody tip for you, because you're the one I know that is good at melodies. That's
Yeah.
why.
okay.
That's why I'm asking you that specific question.
Yeah,
But you
let
could
me,
add
let me
on.
get back on topic with the
Yeah,
thing. So basically, if you have FL, definitely the native scale plugin, or not even plugin, just like the
It's like an
tool.
option. Yeah,
the
that's a tool.
feature. Use that, and just develop your ear. You don't need music theory. I don't think you need music theory. These people went to school for it, so I can't
We
speak
went
on
to
their
school
part.
for it, but I don't remember a
Shout
lot
out
of
the
it.
doc. I remember all of it.
I don't remember.
Circle of fifths or something.
Oh,
That's
I know,
like the
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Major seventh, major the fifth,
And the only reason I know that is because like
whole half.
people that I've like tutorials that I've watched on YouTube have always mentioned it, and like the whole debate like whether you should need it or not. I think it definitely like helps you expand more
Yeah.
on your musical range, but
It
I don't
also
think you
limits
need
you.
it to be successful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's like I keep on using cooking as an example, but it's like you can go to cooking school and learn how to cook, but there's some people who never learn and they're still just as good.
Yeah.
They don't use measuring things
Yeah, they're
or
just by eye, yeah.
by eye, and it's the same shit.
Mm-hmm. That's why I make the best hamburgers.
You were, what the fuck?
That's what I'm saying. I'm not a chef, but I make the best homemade burgers.
But
you know
you
what I'm saying?
cook at Chipotle.
Trump's
No,
Burgers?
we don't. but He
The
really
Boy
just
Scout?
said. He really just said that Chipotle makes burgers. I'm saying my homemade
No,
ones. I
you
said
have
homemade.
own
That's not what I
I
said.
said homemade.
I said
You said you work at
cook
Chipotle.
You cook at Chipotle though.
Yeah, but I don't cook at. No, what? No,
cooks.
this is pissing me off.
All right, let's get back on topic.
Yeah.
first of
Okay,
all.
so you say your production tip for melodies, specifically melodies, is
the ghost
using
notes and train your ear.
Yep, ghost notes and play by ear, like whatever sounds
Definitely
good to you.
play by
Yeah.
ear. But
Whatever
training
sounds
your
good to
ear
you.
in general will be amazing. Like
Don't-
is what you need actually.
Yeah.
You need to.
Don't be like my teacher told me that. My music theory told me this. My music teacher told me this. He said like using scales and chords is really it's good, right, to know, obviously, because that's what like it makes sense. Like it's like it just sounds good together, right? That's what he says. But he said it way better than me. But it sounds better together. But also that's how that's how you sound generic. You have to go off the key sometimes and
Like
play.
the course of like building tension between chord progressions and notes is like a whole thing that is like really cool, and people use like later down the line, like once they've tuned their ear and they're used to making melodies, they know like what off-key thing would sound good at the end to maybe like wrap it back around, or just like certain aspects of it that you would only know if you had your ear trained and you knew like your chord progression.
Yeah, but it's always whatever sounds good to you.
Yeah, do like
Doesn't
what you're
matter.
saying. I can give a quick example because I remember this from music theory. Like Bruno Mars, I think it was if I Was Your Man. That's the name of the song. On that song, he's playing everything in the major key, and then on one part he goes to the minor key. And like for people who don't know, like the major is like the happy key, and the minor is the sad. So he's playing the whole thing in like the happy key, and then he goes to like a sad part, and then he brings it back with the happy key.
Yeah.
Like all that stuff, like the musicians do, like that's on purpose.
Yeah.
That's all music theory and your ears and just knowing how to make chord progressions and stuff.
Yeah, because I know like when I started, and my ear wasn't trained at all, like someone could play an out of tune guitar and I wouldn't even realize it was out of tune. And like,
Wow.
yeah, I mean that bad of like not having your ears tuned at all. So like I thought I was like sort of hopeless when it came to like making beats and trying to make my own music. But it's really, really just practice and always like trying to build. on
Yeah,
what you
even
already
off key
got.
sounds cool sometimes though.
Yeah.
Like off key, I mean, I'm pretty sure half my melodies are off key, 90% of them are probably off key, but it sounds good to me. I don't know. Just like I think it was Boy Wonder.
I think it's Kirk Knight.
Oh,
Kirk Knight
I'm
talks about it, right?
No, I was talking about this one in particular. Boy Wonder, he made that Drake beat, and he played a bass line on there. And he said, "I'm pretty sure one of these sounds off, or one of these is off, but I didn't care because it sounds good to me." And like, I mean, he's right. It sounded good. Like it might be. It was probably off, but it sounded.
Boy Wonder,
really
is
good.
it the song Drake and Lil Wayne?
No. It was just the Drake song.
The Drake song.
All right, I don't know, but it's the Drake. It's one of Drake's songs.
New or old?
No, it's like 2 years ago.
Okay.
2 years old.
Okay.
It's a Diplomatic Immunity. That song. That's like one of my favorite Drake songs. I ain't gonna lie.
Well, yeah,
But I'm
that
not the
beat's
biggest
fire.
Drake fan.
Boy
I love
Wonder
Drake.
makes that beat?
That's fake. I just said I'm not the biggest fan, but I just said I love Drake. But I
Wait,
like
but
Drake.
Boy Wonder made that beat?
Yeah, Diplomatic Immunity.
Yeah, no, that beat's sick. He puts the
Yeah.
kicks later.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
That's the thing too. That's another tip. This is another tip. This is my tip. No, I have a lot of tips, but this is one of my tips. Right? Is like simplicity. You know, like he literally used 2 different kicks, a bass line, and a snare and a hi hat, and that's five sounds
And
and a sample.
And a loop.
Yeah,
Wasn't
the
it
loop, the sample. He got that sample and he just toned it down like I think a semitone, and like literally 6 sounds made Diplomatic Immunity. Like
yeah, and
a
that's
Drake
another
song.
thing you're gonna hear repeatedly. Probably the most common production tip
Yeah.
is simplicity is key.
Simplicity. Yep.
Yep. Like
It's very. I think my bad. Okay, yeah, but I think more the simpler beats are literally
true.
the biggest ones.
it's true.
Like you don't hear like the complex, crazy beats or whatever. Like if you do, it's like an ARP, and it's like
I
crazy.
remember when I first met you and I was playing all the beats I had on BeatStars, you chose the easiest
Simplest
one, like
beat,
the
yeah.
most basic, and you were like, this one's fire. And I was
Yeah.
like, wow.
That's how it goes.
It took me
though.
10 minutes.
Like I saw in a video of Alchemist, he says like I don't know why I keep on going back to this comparison, but he even uses it like a chef. Like you can have
God, you're so hungry.
you can't like when you're cooking something, you know, you don't want to put too much spice because something can have too much flavor and it will ruin it.
Yep.
Get lost in the sauce.
Too much salt.
Yeah, too much. But if you put just the right amount, it's what makes a dish.
Mm-hmm.
You want to put enough sauce, but not too much sauce, because then you'll get lost in the sauce.
Damn. There you go. Lost in the sauce. That's the title
Shouts
of
out
the video.
Gucci Mane.
That's the title of the video. Gucci Mane lost in the sauce.
in the sauce.
No, but I think definitely like don't be afraid to like only have 6 sounds or 4, a hi hat, kick, and snare, like and maybe an 808 with the sample, 4 or 5 sounds. Like hits have been made off like 2, 3.
And it's really hard to know too if you're like an online only producer who are like sending stuff out for placements or doing it on YouTube. You're only gonna like really know simplicity is key is when you have your friends listen to stuff, or like when you're in a session with somebody and they're like, yo, we don't need all that. Then you'll start like learning over time. I've had to learn like through online, like through some beats and just listening to like top Billboard hits, like what to put and like how much to put. So it's like, that's why I definitely want to get back to like, definitely a better producer tip is get in with somebody.
I think, yeah, not even
get into a session.
Yeah, not
with
even
an
get into the
artist.
session, but I was thinking about like have more people hear it to kind of get like a response maybe. But also like some people are kind of sensitive where they're like, oh, like
You can't be if you're doing this type of like stuff.
yeah, if you're especially music, like because
You
you know
can't
if
be
people are out
sensitive.
there, you know, it's like YouTube. It's like being on YouTube. If you put anything out there, you know there's gonna be hate. You know there's gonna be negative. It's like
And
you
that-
have to come.
Like,
You have to
even
do
if
this
it's
knowing.
art, it's still work.
Yeah,
That's how it is until like I mean, this may not be completely true, but like that's how it is until you're really famous or something. I mean, until you get that credibility, I mean, everyone just right off the bat will assume that your shit is trash.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. I mean,
like everybody listen to this. Everybody
everybody-
thinks we're trash.
no. You guys go check out everything. It's not trash. But what I'm saying
I
is
think all the stuff at home is trash right now.
But it's true, like, and then you can't get all like butthurt if someone's like, "Oh, I don't like that," because to you it sounds good, but if they don't like it, then
That's just an opinion.
that's an opinion.
Yeah.
So you don't have to listen because someone else may like it.
I think that's a good tip.
But if everyone's saying something's not good and you think it's good, you know, chances are it's not good, and that's just how it is. Sometimes you just
Yeah,
You'll
you definitely
learn.
have to be. You definitely have to be open minded too, and like don't be like such like just because you made it and you think it's like incredibly good, but but everybody you everybody you show it to thinks it's trash. Like, don't get too ahead of yourself and be like, "Hey, I'm a beat maker. Like, look, listen to this beat. I just made it. It's fire." And then everybody's like, "It's trash." And then you're like, "No, it's fire." And then it's like, you really gotta like, I don't know if I'm saying the right thing.
No, I get what you're saying.
Like-
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, don't be too hard headed and be like, I'm not gonna take opinion or something like, or someone's like, "Hey, maybe you should switch up the hi hat pattern a little bit," and then you're like, "No, I like it like that."
Feedback and constructive criticism
Constructive
is another
Constructive
key.
criticism.
Yeah.
You got to know how to take it, and you can't be like sensitive. Like,
Yeah.
Like I'd say that's the best word, sensitive, because just because someone says like, "Oh, it doesn't sound good," it doesn't mean they're coming at you. Like, you know, you don't have to fight them or anything after that. It just they're being honest and they're trying to help you out. So it's better to listen than to be like hard headed and like.
Yeah, I think I literally just like, I like contradicted myself what I was saying. I don't know. I was listening. I was like thinking it back. I was like, what did I say? Like I thought I just said something totally like way out like random. I think because I was saying it, and then I was like, wait, that's not what I mean. I don't know why I said that. And then that's why I just wanted to take it back. I just want to take that back. Whatever I said, take that back. Look, this is the tip. This is the tip I'm trying to say that I didn't force out in the beginning.
Yeah.
Is a good tip is make it sound good to yourself. Don't be afraid of someone getting like trying to like constructive criticism. Like take that, but don't make you feel like
I got you.
Yeah.
Don't make the beat for someone else. Make the beat for you.
Yeah.
And
Don't
if
be a
someone else
bitch.
doesn't like it, listen to their feedback, but you don't have to do what they say
Yeah.
because that's what makes you you. You
At
can't
the end
just,
of the day, at the end of the night, you're at night, you're laying in bed, and you're like, you know what? This beat sounds good to me.
that's
This
all that
sounds
matters.
good to me. That's it.
That's all that
Yeah.
matters.
Yeah,
Like
because
on
I was like that, like very hard. I was very like, dang it, he doesn't like it. Like my friend that like showed me how to make beats. If he didn't like it, I wasn't gonna like it because I was like, he's the one. He knows what's good.
Also, yeah, and also like if you're showing your friends beats, don't always listen to them because you're close to your friends or your family and stuff.
Yeah, that might be the
So
yes
they're
man.
gonna just be like, "Oh yeah, it's good, it's
Yep,
good,"
the
or
yes
they'll
man.
just be like, "Trash, that's trash."
Mhm.
Like my close friends, every beat I show them, they're always like, "Oh yeah, I don't know, dude. You got to make it more of kind of like slap, like make it slap more." It's like, what the fuck does that even? Like you don't even know how to make, you know? But
Yeah,
that's just them, and I'm close to them, so it's kind of like they don't see me as a producer. I guess they see me more as like a friend that I've known my whole life.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying?
I feel like yeah, definitely make sure you don't put yourself around yes man. Like
Yeah.
that's a term too. Like people like always talk about in the industry is like don't put yourself around like yes man.
And put yourself near around people who make the same style as you or make different style of beats as you, but that you like.
Yeah,
Not just like because they're your friend, but if you like what they're making, then you can learn off them and it'll help just all around.
yeah.
Which probably ties into our next topic,
Yes, it does.
which is listen to a variety of genres
Mm-hmm.
when you're producing.
I feel like that literally opens up a lot of. That's what I literally force myself to listen to music wouldn't listen to.
Oh yeah, me too. Especially from sampling. I mean, I'll listen to anything, and just by listening to music, you learn and get different types of inspiration from things that you may not even notice, like that you like, and it's just that's how it happens. That's how
Yeah.
it goes.
Like and especially like implement like anything you hear and like either to be not your genre or if it is your genre. Like I listen like me personally, I think I consider my music still like new, modern, but I definitely bring back a lot of old sounds like the cowbell, like my favorite sound, and I still bring it back. Like no matter if it's like a hard trap beat, I'm gonna try to include it. Even if it doesn't sound good, I'm gonna just still put it in there because it just sounds good to me. If it doesn't sound good to people, like I know it sounds good to me, so it's like
But you also already have I would say, credibility where if someone says your beat doesn't sound good, you don't give a shit because
Yeah.
you know your stuff sounds good, and like we know your stuff sounds good. And everybody in this whole school knows that your stuff sounds good. So
damn the whole school.
I would say
That's a lot of
everybody
people.
here.
I don't know.
I would say that. I would say so far every class I've been in with you guys, everyone's like, "Oh, Esteban's beats are fire." Blah blah blah.
It's because my beats are like LA type beats or like West Coast G funk and like or like different. Like I feel like everybody says that when they're not, and it's not like the typical Bay Area music. because we're in the Bay. Just in case you've ever tuned in, if you tuned into this episode and this is not the first episode you've seen, go ahead and watch the first episode and
We
catch
say
up.
the Bay.
But we are
So
coming
many
out of
times.
Emeryville, California,
That's where we're at right now. Yeah.
which everybody doesn't know. Emeryville, it's right next to Oakland,
Mm-hmm.
and I know
Berkeley.
everybody knows Oakland.
Yep.
I don't care where you're from.
Yeah,
You know
everyone
Oakland.
knows Oakland.
Yeah.
You know the Bay.
Yeah.
You know.
So I think just to recap on the tips real quick, because I feel like we talked about it, but I want to just refresh it. So your melody tip?
Melody tip, Ghost Notes on FL, Ghost Note scale, and what was my other one? Do y'all remember?
I remember.
Tune your ears.
Yeah, and tune your
Yeah,
ears.
and play by ear,
play until your ears start getting tuned. Watch tutorials.
Yeah.
That'll help.
What? Would you recommend Scalar as a tip, or you
Yeah.
think is it a tip or is it if you're stuck?
I mean, it depends what you're making.
Yeah, I guess.
What
yeah.
you're making on Scalar, and if you're stuck, then maybe.
Yeah.
I would say it is more of a tool.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
helps
tool.
you create, or it helps you bring out what
I-
you're hearing in your head.
I was gonna say about Scalar is just really quick. Like, I feel like it's good. Definitely don't start off and buy Scalar. Definitely start and like, but without how people. It's like this is a good analogy. It's like basketball players who like dress up like fancy and good, but they're trash.
Like you.
Yeah, like me. He's talking about me when I literally played basketball with him in pants and not even basketball shoes. He's talking about me. Yeah, that makes perfect sense, Vic. No, but people who like dress up with like the fresh new shoes, fresh new shorts, and they're like they got their
Shooting
like,
sleeve?
They got
Two
their
shooting
they got their
sleeves?
Steph Curry like basketball jersey on, and like
Basically, don't be that rich kid that just because they have money, they can spend money on all these plugins
Yeah.
and they're going to be good instantly.
Yeah, 'cause you're
hits
not-
have been made out of stock plugins
Yep.
and stock sounds.
that's what I was trying to say.
It's
Thank
true
you.
though. Yeah.
Anyways, that's it. That's all I want to talk about it. We've been talking about it a lot, like 20 minutes. So go ahead, your tip, Vic.
I don't think I ever really said it. I was just talking about.
Oh
like,
yeah, you did.
Okay,
Go ahead, say your tip.
I kind of did say it also though. I said it without it being my turn.
Yeah.
What is your tip, sir?
You got to be able to take constructive criticism, but don't take it too hard. Don't be sensitive about
Yeah.
it. And at the
Music
end of the
industry
day,
is a cold world.
if you like what it's sounding like and you really deep down feel like it sounds good and like you don't care what anyone else says, then
Yeah.
don't change it for anyone. I
Mhm.
mean, it's your beat.
Yeah.
And if someone really, 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 really wants you to change it, do something, then
They better be paying
tell them
you.
to go make their own beat or something.
No,
'cause-
if they're like an artist and they're telling you to do something like crazy or like change something, then they gotta be like, no, like this is the way I want it. If you want it to be changed, pay me for it.
yeah, or go find someone else.
Yeah.
'Cause at the end of the day,
Know your worth, man.
and what makes you is what makes you. You know, if you're a basketball player and you're playing basketball and then someone's like, yo, like, you want to throw the football around, and then they're talking shit about how you throw the football, it's like, I'm a basketball player, not a football player, so if you want to play football, go find someone to play football
All these
with.
analogies we're using in this episode.
What was
All
that,
right.
like 7 of them? in 20
I'd
minutes?
say I thought about a few tips that literally just came to my head, but the tip I was gonna say that no one's really brought up yet for a production tip. Well, no, it's not really a production tip. It's like more engineering tip. I was gonna say like leveling, because a lot of people don't level it. And here's a tip: route every single like sound you have to its own like fader, its own channel, and then after that you could level the beat the way you want it. And you know what I'm saying? Like, so that way people get a general basis of how to separate all the sounds.
Mm-hmm.
Like at FL, if you have like I think FL20, right? You can move it to where it's like kick was 1, and then snares 2, and then like move it like so that way you're like all your stuff is in different channels. Keep yourself in different channels for each instrument you use, and then so that way you could EQ one by one and level it the way you want. That's a tip that I was gonna give. Another tip I was gonna give is, well, I guess that's kind of like what Vic was saying, is kind of don't be afraid of people telling you that it doesn't sound good. It's kind of, because that was like one of my biggest things that I had to get over, because I was so like nitpicky and like I worked so long on this like hi-hat pattern, and my friend tells me it's all right, and it's like it shut me down because like especially starting off when you're starting off like and someone tells you it's trash, you're like I gotta like I felt like
Because
quitting.
you
Like,
feel like so accomplished once the beat's done.
Yeah.
And then you show it to someone and they're like, nah.
Yeah.
You know?
So
it's
I'd
pretty
say-
heartbreaking.
I say definitely, especially if you're starting out, definitely try to build up that. It's gonna take a while. Build up that like courage and like that strength in yourself to kind of not be. I don't know what's the word for.
Don't be butthurt.
Don't get butthurt. Don't get
Just
butthurt.
don't get
for it.
butthurt. At the end of
Yeah.
the day, this music industry shit is incredibly cold. I know if like you're starting in your bedroom, you don't really know much about it because you haven't been out and been
Yeah.
in it. But once you start moving to these cities and you try and network, you're gonna meet anyone and everyone that's also trying to make it, and everyone has different agendas. So even if someone calls your thing completely trash and you might sort of look up to them, they could be jealous at the same time.
Yeah.
So just you do you, make what you want to make, and get the people you trust to really
Yeah.
critique your stuff.
Oh yeah.
And
Don't have yes men also.
yeah,
Oh, yeah,
yes men
exactly.
are a bad thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
you want
business
someone
men.
who's going to give their honest opinion and not lie to you.
Yeah.
So that way you can just think that it sounds good, which maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But if someone's always telling you that it sounds good, you're not getting real feedback, and like that's what you want. You want the real deal.
That's why I asked my mom. She asked me the real. Like, I showed her a lot of my beats. She's like, I don't like what you did there, and I was like, did where? And then she hears something. And I was like, I like it. She's like, why don't you like it? And then and then I asked her, why don't you like it? She's like, it doesn't sound right. And I change it. And then I'm like, damn, like, I don't know. Like sometimes like my mom will be like, but then like sometimes she doesn't like the 808. So I don't know if her opinion really was like right that time. At that time, I'm like, what, mom, come on, it's 808. How are you not gonna have an 808 in a rap song? But like in a modern song.
Yeah,
But
some people
anyways,
like I've showed my grandpa one time my beats,
Yeah.
and he just totally didn't get it because like he doesn't listen to rap at
Yeah.
all. He's not even from the world, so he's like the bass is a little too much. I'm like, that's the whole point. Like
Yeah.
you want the bass to be a little much. So
I don't even know why I brought that up. Never mind. That's
yeah,
kind of-
definitely get your homies and other people.
Yeah.
critique.
Yeah. Just try to avoid yes man. That's
Yeah.
And another tip, I know it's a topic, but I feel like it's more of a tip. To listen to a variety of genres.
And before we get in that, let me just add, when you were talking about the channel routing, a huge tip is learn all the shortcuts to your DAW.
That's gonna be like kind of the next one.
that'll not only increase workflow, but that'll allow you to like get everything down and really like, because like I said, with that 6-month hurdle of learning, just that whole learning curve, is what like sort of like held back my creativity because I wasn't able to express it right then and there. And like once you get over that learning curve and you have all these shortcuts down, you're gonna move so fast and be able to put whatever you want on the track a lot faster and not lose the vibe.
Yeah, let me add something to that. Like for the learning curve, I'm gonna use a little analogy.
Oh my god.
No, this
Number
is
8.
George. George told us this.
Okay.
Shout out George.
I hope you're taking a shot every time we say an analogy.
So, like he was saying, you got to learn how to use the DAW before you can start actually doing your thing.
Yeah.
So, like what our teacher said once as a comparison is like skating. When you're learning to skate, you got to learn how to ride the board, how to be on the board, how to have balance and all that before you can actually go out and skate and just have fun with it and start doing tricks and all that.
Yeah.
You got to learn how to skate before you can go out and have fun skating.
Yep. Yeah, I bet you wrote that down in your notebook. I already know
Definitely
that.
did not.
That was a good one though. That
Yeah.
was really useful.
So, I hope all those tips help out. I mean, I know like I know all these tips have probably been saying in, like videos, but this is just all in one, just to kind of keep
Yeah.
it all together.
I mean, repetition is also a huge
10,000
thing. It's
hours.
like if it's right, well, that too. But
Mhm.
if it's right, you'll hear it
Yeah.
repeated.
You'll know when you know.
Yeah.
Like the simplicity thing is the biggest, and it's something that I still struggle with. But yeah, I mean, everything you're hearing, if you've heard it repeated before, it's most likely,
Yeah, and if something sounds good, if you're thinking to yourself like, oh, what can I add to this? What do I have to add? Then maybe you don't have to add something. Like you'll know when you have to add something when you feel that something's missing.
Yeah.
But if you feel like you have to add something just because you feel like there's not enough
don't just add
instruments,
to add.
yeah, don't
Yeah.
just add to add. It's
Add because there's something missing, not add to just to add.
yeah. If that makes sense. That makes sense.
That makes sense
right?
to
It
me.
does,
That
yeah, it
literally
makes
makes sense to me in my head.
Yeah.
But I'm
and
a
like
little slow.
the thing is too is like with the repetition thing, I'm the type of person to not like take any advice really seriously or have it glued to my brain unless I've heard it like 1,000 times.
Mhm.
And then I'm like, okay, like
Yeah.
I should stick to that. And that's like, it's hard expressing that since we only have one voice here on the podcast, but definitely go check out everyone else's tutorials, everyone else's podcast, and just look for the same advice over and over again. And that'll be the right one.
Yeah.
But the biggest one I would say that everybody would say, like, no matter who it is use your ears. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. Whatever you think sounds
good to you.
good,
Music is subjective. So.
Yeah.
it's all in your ears. There's no rules. There's no right way. There's no wrong way.
Mm-hmm. So I think that was pretty good for the tips.
Yeah.
I think we can move on to workflow. Because we kind of talked about the variety
Yeah,
of
like
genres.
what increases your workflow?
For me, what increases my workflow is being organized. Honestly, the color coding stuff, that's like it. That's I don't know. For me,
I feel like that does help, though.
I feel like
helps
it-
your brain.
oh, it'll help if you constantly name this. Like, say one day you have a kick that's blue, and then the next day you have it green. It's like, well, you never know what I don't know. I feel like if you do it, that's just for me maybe. But I think the color coding thing is kind of personal.
But there is artists like CLA, Chris Lord, Algie.
Yeah.
Like anytime he does a mix or anything like that, he always has it color coded. And I saw the video.
Yeah.
Like all his vocals are red,
Mm-hmm.
all the drums are blue, and that's how he does it, and that's how he's been doing it for years.
That's what I'm
so-
saying. That's when
What
it's.
do you color code when you make beats?
No.
Yeah. See, I
At
just
the,
leave
at
it
the
like that.
end, I'm not gonna lie. At the end, I'll do the gradient just so when
same.
I
Yeah,
record
Same.
my
looks
computer,
cool?
it looks cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
He's
all I
only
need
doing it
for.
for the gram.
I do the
That's all
same
he's doing it
thing.
for.
But that's because that's an FL on Pro Tools when I'm mixing and stuff. Everything's labeled, color coded, nice.
Yeah, I think on Pro Tools I do it.
But that's
we're
Pro
talking about
Tools.
production.
But yeah,
we're
we're
talking
talking
about
about
production.
production. Yeah.
So I feel like
Be organized.
yeah, definitely for me it's I'm gonna say what I think would increase my workflow is to be organized, to label like everything, which is being organized pretty much, and then also on your channel like route everything on the channel like every single thing you know what I'm saying, like route every instrument to a different channel, to a different track, and I feel like that, and besides all the like hotkeys, like like all the shortcuts, all the key commands, that's like that'll if you know all the key commands and you sound like a little freak like Jordan, go ahead, mess around with the
No.
keys. That's literally
They're
all you
always hearing
hear
my
is
keyboard.
typing. All you hear is clicking, typing, mouse clicks for
I'm
like
moving
30
like
seconds.
1,000 miles an hour. I'll never be at like Nick Mira level. That's insane.
No,
if anyone's seen like
I literally
his live streams,
no,
it's insane.
It'll
He'll-
happen.
Like if he recorded his keys, it'd be distorting. Like
It'd be
he
distorting.
is crazy.
Is
on
it
there.
crazier than like Fortnite kids?
It's
No.
right up there.
No,
It's right up
There's
there.
no
I
way.
swear.
No,
Hate
it's
those
not.
kids.
You
just kidding.
You're
I
just
used to
hating
play, I
on
used to play
everybody.
Fortnite.
No, you didn't.
I was
He's
trash.
lying. He's
though. I was
literally
trash.
lying.
Shouts out
He
Epic
he
Games.
knows he messed up, so he's trying to like recover. He's lying. But yeah, I think that's
We
what.
just lost half our viewers.
Yeah, I feel like that's what increases workflow is being organized, routing everything to the channel, knowing shortcut and key commands, like shortcuts and key commands, and I would say people. I feel like people don't really know this, but some do. But I'm saying is which I haven't done personally. I still need to do this. Is make my own kit, like all your favorite sounds, put them there. So you have
Oh.
you have your go-to sounds that you already like. If you're making melodies, you already know. Oh, this drum sound like this kick sounds good with this. Make your own drum kit for yourself, but also don't like delete all your other drum kits after that. Just keep them just in case you want to experiment with new sounds. That's why.
Like what Eli was saying in the last episode.
Yeah, basically,
Yeah,
just
and that-
organizing all the sounds you like, put them all in one folder, and call them my fave drum kit or my favorite sounds or whatever.
You do you. You know
Yeah.
what it, you know
Time
what it
is
should be named.
at the end of the day, like time is money, or like
Yep.
time is your biggest thing.
Mhm.
And if you gotta go through like 5 different packs and
Yeah.
play through over hundreds of snares,
Yep.
you might lose that vibe. You might lose what you're feeling. Like, damn, this shit's taking days. Like I don't
Yep.
even want to look
That's
for a
why
snare
I'm like
anymore.
that too. Yeah.
Yeah, like right now, let's say you're 2 years in or 3 years in, whatever in, and you're constantly making beats, definitely go for that.
Yep.
Right now, when you're just starting out,
Oh, yeah,
don't
yeah.
even worry about the
No,
free
don't worry
drums.
about that. Yeah, yeah.
Like just keep experimenting, keep finding your sound, and then eventually you'll be like, oh, okay, like these are the set of hi-hats or snares that I'm always using. Let me put this into a favorite drum kit or
Yeah.
whatnot.
Yeah,
That's what I do.
I would say for
Well, I
increasing
haven't done.
workflow is like to learn your DAW, like really learn
Yeah.
your DAW.
Know what like the windows mean.
Yeah,
like, know-
watch YouTube videos. If you don't know what a small little button means, I mean, look it up. Google's
Yeah.
free. So what's stopping you
Yep.
from just look it up? If you really want to do it, I mean, look it up. When I first started, I mean, I was watching FL tutorial beats like every single day, every free time I had, even if I was watching 5 videos on the same topic.
Yeah.
'Cause everybody has a different way they do it. And if you're
Exactly.
learning a little bit from each person, then you're like all in one. Like you're,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Kinda? Like,
no. Yeah. Like people will listen to this, and this is just one of their videos that they might have favorited or put to the side and to watch when they have time to kind of grow. Like that's what I do. I'll see a video. I'm like, oh, that looks like something I could learn from, and I'll put it to like a playlist that I have or I'll watch later. You know what I mean? So then like later on when I have time, I listen to all those at once while I'm either like making food or I'm walking to go on the bus. Like there's so many ways to listen to content, especially like everybody now has a phone. Everybody has a smartphone. Everybody got little earphones or whatever. Everybody could listen to tips. So I feel like that's a workflow on learning, on like growing, I guess. But
like, yeah, you should always don't be somebody who's like, oh, I know this already, so I'm not going to listen.
yeah,
Because like everybody hates that. Don't be that. You want to be a sponge. You want to soak everything up.
Yep.
Even if you know already, you still want to listen because there's something you may not know from something you did know.
Like I've known like YouTube tutorials where it's like, okay, I know how to do all this, and then like 4 minutes and 30 seconds in, I'll see like a hotkey or like some sort of way they go about mixing or whatnot that I'm like, whoa,
Yeah.
like I haven't tried that yet, and it's like,
I'm kind of
Yeah.
I'm kind of stubborn when it comes to like what you were just saying. I was like, yeah, he might be taking shots at me, but I'm like, or like I wasn't not taking
We're
shots,
always
but I
taking
was like
shots
hearing
at
it. Yeah, I was like, dang, that's how I am because I've watched like how to sample videos, like, but I've watched like 8 of them or 10 of them and I'm like, at this point, I'm like, I probably know, and I'm kind of just like, I know, but I probably should watch that video. Like if it's a new video, it's new for a reason. Maybe it's like,
Yeah,
you know, like they know
what
something.
that's what I do. I mean, like, if it's a new video that I haven't seen, like how to sample, I'll watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And if what they're doing is something that I know already, and they're just reviewing it, then it makes me feel a little better. Like, okay, I am doing this
Yeah.
the right way. Maybe I do know. It's a little reassuring, but it helps also to know because there's little things like, just little things like, I mean, I've been making beats for almost 3 years now, seriously, and like there's some things that I barely learned here from just being in the studio with you and
Yeah.
Eli.
Mm-hmm.
And like it makes me feel like a dumbass because it's like, damn, like these guys probably think I'm a rookie, you know, like little
No,
things like that. But
I feel like a rookie when I'm around Jordan, because I'll be like, yeah, just pull up your channel rack. He's like real quick, like in like half a second, just click some like 3 buttons.
hotkey for the channel rack.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know.
See, I didn't
I
know-
didn't even know there
like,
was a hotkey for
yeah.
that.
I mean, I'm on PC too, so like because like I have PC and then I think everyone else have Macs.
Well,
so,
now
like,
Max, yeah. Back then I had a PC too.
Yeah, like, well, I've learned every single shortcut and hotkey on here. And
Yeah.
Then, well, I mean, not every, but, you know, like a lot of them. And then I'll
Yeah.
switch over to the Mac and try and work. Like, sometimes when I'll come into the studio and I don't have my setup, like, you know, I'll just be working with Trunks on his stuff. Like, I'll be on the Mac and I'll be slow as hell. Like,
Yeah.
there's no one slower than me when I get onto a Mac. So, like, trying to learn that side of things, too, is, like, definitely something I need to work on.
This is just because you were talking about Mac and Windows. This is a tip, I guess, is like look up Mac shortcuts for like I don't know if that makes any sense. Like because I've
Well,
done
when you
that.
look up shortcuts, it shows Mac
no,
and Windows
I
next
know,
to each
but I'm
other.
saying like because I've done that and I've watched the wrong video. Maybe I'm stupid, but I've watched the wrong. I watched
Yeah.
the Mac one on
If
accident.
you see command, you know
yeah,
that's not you.
bro. I didn't know that. I don't know. Like it's like that's like studying the keyboard. I didn't know there was like.
Well, for me, when I
know.
first downloaded FL,
Maybe I just put myself out there and
my-
I sounded stupid now. But
my
I'm sorry.
my FL was PC, but I converted my Mac to half PC.
Mm-hmm. And
So
the hotkeys are
all
different.
the hotkeys were PC, but I was using a Mac. So you
Mm.
know, there's no command
hell
on
nah.
a PC.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that
yeah,
shit
that's
was
trippy.
hard.
I
That
I don't
shit
want
was
that
hard.
confusion.
No.
But I mean, I made it work.
I mean, yeah, transferring over to Mac from being PC after a year and a half or 2 years, it's like obviously it's gonna be something different.
It's
But
new, but it's not at the same time.
Yeah.
It's just like, I'm not gonna throw in another comparison, but
yeah,
it's
no,
not,
we're not. We're done with the comparisons. Let's
Rough
let's go on.
analogies,
Yeah.
Let's
please.
go on.
Good.
All right, my workflow is. Let's just. Oh my God, we literally just tangent so much.
Yeah,
All right.
those are the basic ways to
Look,
increase
this
your
is
workflow.
increased workflow is to be organized, label everything,
That's
put
organized.
everything on a channel rack,
Learn your DAW.
Learn your DAW and learn around it. Learn how like what everything is used for. And that's my like 4 or 5 tips that I just said. Go ahead, Jordan, say yours.
Well, I'm pretty sure the shortcuts one tied into
That's
mine.
literally
so-
your number one thing is your shortcuts.
Definitely
He knows
shortcuts.
everything.
Organize. I mean, like really just tuning in on those 5 things. I can't really think of any.
Yeah,
more
I
right
mean that's
now.
like the major 5 to really increase
yeah,
workflow.
like learning your DAWs, learning the shortcuts, learning
Yeah.
how things work, sample rate, all that.
Mhm.
Don't think too much on sample rate. I just put that out there.
Yeah.
And I know a rookie like me starting out would have been like, "What sample
What
rate?
sample
What?
rate? Yeah.
Oh my God, 48?
Yeah.
What? Like
I don't know. Yeah.
But organization is super key. Make sure all your files are down.
Yep.
Maybe, I mean, you do you, but like whether it's naming the beat, which I talked about a little in the first episode, naming your beat, file organization, which a tutorial is still coming up for that
Mhm.
one. So we'll definitely get you straight on that. But I'm pretty sure those 5 things are pretty
Yeah.
solid.
That's working in the DAW. Like all the organizational skills of like labeling a beat, like putting the key and putting the BPM. That's all like after the the production's done. The beat is done and it's finished. Then you go ahead and then label it. Like that's a little different organized type thing. I'm talking about just while you're actually in your DAW making the beat. That's what I was talking about. But I mean, yeah, no, I'm not saying that's not a tip. I just want to reiterate that. But that's what about you, Vic? You got any other tips?
Learn your DAW.
Or my bad, not my tips. Increase workflow. That's what I
Yeah,
meant. Yeah.
Learn your DAW. The hotkeys. I mean, it's all the same stuff. Whatever makes things faster.
Which is everything we
what
said,
helps
yeah. It's
because
kinda hard
time
'cause
is
I said it
money.
all 5 of them, my bad.
I mean,
I
you
mean,
said them
those
all,
are
but
solid
those
5.
are like, yeah, that's solid. I mean, one other thing I would say to increase your workflow is to like I guess this only applies for FL, but like separate everything. Like how you were saying, you put assign everything, route everything to a track.
Yeah.
If you're making like a whole thing on the channel pattern, like split your
Split by
channel,
channel?
into
Yeah,
things
yeah.
because it helps when you can see what you're hearing. Sometimes it helps you just piece it together in your brain because I
Yeah.
mean, it just little things like that. It helps.
Yeah. If you're into the color grading, color
Oh, yeah,
organizer,
color coding.
if you're into color coding, I couldn't think of the word coding, but if you're into color coding, go definitely color code. But I feel like the best beneficial way is to color code it the same color every time.
Be consistent.
Yeah, be consistent with the color. If you have a kick that's blue one day and the next day you change it to yellow, I feel like you'll kind of like lose what. You won't remember, like, oh, yesterday it was blue, but today was it yellow or was it red? I don't remember.
Yeah,
So,
that's-
like, kind of keep it the same color if you're going to use color coding. But if you're going to use it for IG and look all cool because you look like a little fruity rainbow, and then you're going to go ahead and record it, do you? But then, I mean, that's just a tip for me. That's I mean, but then also, you don't have to color code like me. I don't color code.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you?
Increasing your workflow is to help you do what you're trying to do without having to think about it extra.
Yeah.
To have that extra thought, like, oh, is this a kick? You shouldn't have to think about that. You should know that's the kick, that's the snare, that's the hi-hat, and not look at it and listen to each one like, oh, which one's this one? Oh, what's this? Blah, blah, blah. It's just you want to get the most done as possible with the time you're stewing. And, if you're making a beat and you've been making it for 2 hours and you're not using hotkeys, you're not doing that, 20 minutes of that is going to be just you dragging your mouse and doing clicks and all that. And that's
Time is of the essence.
The 2 hours thing, like I was speaking about. This is like a quick tip, and we're moving on to the next topic. This is my segues. I was just talking about reiterating everything, but so I was gonna say about don't be afraid to like get up off your seat and like go do something and then come back make it because like
oh yeah, beat block. People get beat block, writer's block.
Yeah, beat block is.
Like,
everybody's gonna face it, no matter who you are. Like I don't care. Like beat block's gonna happen where you're gonna like you're making something, you're stuck, but just honestly, just leave the room and like do something else. Focus on something like I don't know.
Block
Like,
is honestly different for everyone.
Yeah.
for everyone. But there's ways that I could recommend that could get you back to working, even though it's maybe not like creating a whole beat. Maybe it's just making melodies for one day. Make like even 2 melodies is something better than nothing. So, or like 2 drum loops, whatever. Just like trying to work on like one thing at a time took me forever to even realize that, because whenever I'd beat block, I didn't even like touch the studio again. I didn't even think of like, oh, let me only make melodies this day. That's why I'm like sending you like 300, because whenever I get like beat block, I'll sit there and I'll make just melodies all together. So, and that's what honestly takes the most time in my process, is building on top of melodies if I don't already have it in my head.
Yeah, that's my biggest
For
problem.
me, maybe this is like a little, this is what I do. And I've always done this. For me, anytime I go into a studio and I make beats, I usually, or even if I'm recording a session, I will, because I have different monitors and TV screens in my studio. But I throw on a Netflix or YouTube videos and I put that shit on mute. And like just watching stuff sometimes just helps you get a little creativeness, or you know, that's just what I do. Like we'll be in the studio and I'll have classics playing, you know, like Scarface,
Godfather,
long movies, you know, and you're making a beat, you look up and you're seeing Al Pacino doing a line of Blow or something like that. It may just like, yo, like it may trigger something. You never know. You never know.
That scene in specific will help you.
Yeah.
But that's what I do. Or I'll go out and I'll play like a game of 2K, or like here we play ping pong a lot.
Yeah.
Definitely a break is always needed.
Definitely take a break.
Yeah, because
But if you're feeling it though, and you're like, because I've been there and I've been 6 hours, I made like 4 beats and I liked them all, and like you're feeling it, don't be afraid to just stay there. Also, like
I mean,
you
that's
just gotta
the
know.
sort of debate on like the healthy and unhealthy lifestyle of being a music producer.
No, if you're in music, you definitely.
Oh
you
yeah,
definitely know
I've
you have to sacrifice so many things.
You know, I was gonna make a beat for 1 hour, and next thing you know, it's like 12 o'clock. I haven't eaten anything
You
all
cancel
day.
all your friends.
I got 20 missed calls.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking like 1 meal a day will happen to you if you're really into the process.
Oh yeah, I
haven't eaten all day today. We haven't eaten shit today.
Yeah, we haven't eaten other than donuts. That's all we ate.
Yeah, it's literally 6 p.m. and we all met here at 11.
I mean, I've been here since 9, so let's not get started.
There
with
you
that.
go.
So I think that's literally done with that. Like we spent like 40 minutes.
One more thing.
Okay.
Go back to those deconstructed videos after you produced for like a few months or whatnot. Go back to the same ones you just watched, and it'll really, really help you there.
Or if you haven't watched Deconstructed, watch Deconstructed.
Watch all of them, even if it's a beat you don't like or a song
you'll
have
learn
no
something
idea.
new.
Watch them.
Just watch it in Rhythm Roulette.
Mm-hmm.
And
And then
that is the greatest show, in my opinion, ever to come out.
Rhythm Roulette.
Rhythm Roulette. I mean, who does that? It's
Yeah,
so,
no, that's that's like the sickest music or audio related show.
Deconstructed and Rhythm Roulette. Those are like.
Yeah, and if you're a beginner, listen to those now, all of them, and then later on, listen to them again, because I guarantee you'll miss something that you didn't learn before.
It'll make sense. Their lingo will make sense because we're all using the same vocab in a way. We all know what each other's talking about because we all make beats.
Yeah.
Just like, you know, if you're in the army and people are using military talk, you don't know what they're talking about.
God.
But once you join the army or something, you'll know. It's just things.
Yeah, but the cats just starting out, literally watch all those deconstructed, all the behind the beat, all the rhythm roulettes, watch all of them. Keep doing your thing, like with all the other tips we've given you. And a few months down the road, or even a few weeks down the road, go back and watch them.
Yeah.
You know?
You know what I was going to say is like watch audio or like something music related documentaries, because I feel like that like motivates me.
Yeah,
Like get yourself motivated. I don't know.
Bohemian Rhapsody had me literally.
If you watch
like,
any like
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 in
movies
the studio
like
for like
Bohemian
9
Rhapsody, Straight Outta Compton, Hustle and Flow.
Hustle and Flow.
the OG.
What's another one? The Defiant Ones, the HBO series. You can watch Organized Noise on Netflix. Sample This. There's a ton.
There's some good ass content.
There's a ton,
too.
and like you watching that will make you want to go make beats.
Yeah, like it
That
motivates me so much.
That
Like, it's
inspiration
crazy.
is what gives that drive sometimes, and you know when you're feeling it, you're feeling it. So go in the studio, make a beat, because that's when your best stuff's coming out. If you're forcing yourself to make a beat, it's not gonna come out. Just like forcing yourself to do anything else. If you don't like it, you're not gonna like it.
That was a good one. I like that. Don't force yourself to make a beat. That's really good. Because I was like that too. I used to just force myself. I was like, I want to be a producer, and I just sit there and force myself.
And
to
like,
make something.
and days you'll feel like completely hopeless, and a lot of what we're listing is like really good content to come back from that. And it's like true, just like being a music producer in general. One day you'll think you're making like the next top hit record, and then the other day you feel like you don't even know what you're doing. Like you're not even like near anything good, you know?
Yeah, you gotta just feel it. Like for me, because I mainly use samples. So like when I go into the studio, like the first thing I do is play samples, and that's what makes me, like that's what gets my inspiration, is just playing the samples. Or like even if I'm not making beats, if I'm laying down, using the bathroom, doing whatever, I'm break at work, like I'll still just listen to samples all day and like save them and just save them, because at that point maybe that sample sounds really good and you're gonna go back and you're not gonna feel it. Or there's gonna be one that you're not feeling, but you still kind of feel it, and then you're gonna go back and listen to it and you're like, damn, this shit's fire.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm constantly doing, and I'm always listening to things to sample, even if it's not even I mean, you can sample anything, but whatever gives you that little spark, that creative,
Any motivation.
anything.
It's
Any
cool to
motivation
just
is
watch,
Perfect.
like, be in bed all day and watch Netflix for a whole day because you're just totally burnt out. Like, don't feel like you're a piece of shit producer.
Yeah,
and you're
don't feel
never
like
gonna
you
make it.
have to be constantly making beats or something.
Yeah, because I mean, I've gone one time where I haven't made a beat, and like I think the longest I've gone, I think, is like right now, like 2 weeks without making a beat. But then I'll go and I'll make 5 beats in one sesh, and it's like that works.
I was hearing Side Piece, who signed with Internet Money, and he was saying he has like the worst beat block of all time, which honestly it does, because I've never even been to that level. But he says like once he gets burnt out, he won't touch anything for like a few months and then come
wow.
back to it. And he's like a really, really good producer. So
Dang.
like,
But it helps also when you.
yeah, well, he said also like when he gets right back into the studio after those few months, he'll make like 70 beats, you know, and they're all quality, of course. So it's like
Yeah.
maybe you just need your energy to, you know, come back.
Yeah, I feel like definitely taking a break. But if you're itching for it, that's when you know you can gotta go back. Like if it's like that, like you were saying, like if it takes you a month to feel that itch again, then that month was needed, and now you're gonna be back and you're gonna be like all gassed up about it and like force yourself. Not even force yourself. You're gonna like wanna make like beats every day.
Yep.
You're gonna wanna make 20, 30 beats, even if they're loops, like drum loops or melodies. Like you're gonna want to work. So I feel like that's good. Like taking a break is definitely a good tip. But I feel like now let's get back to the production side, and let's talk about because we were talking about like tips, but I feel like this is another tip, but for production, as in beat making. That was like tips for like.
I mean, that was beat block.
was mainly
That was
beat
beat block.
block.
Yeah. Okay,
Or
but
writer's
this is
block.
honestly, this whole like podcast is probably like something is. I mean, from
We're definitely
making beats,
getting
I don't know.
influence from like our engineering side sometimes when we like break stuff down, like how to mix it and whatnot. But yeah, with all the tips, it's kind of weird because when you're this far in, you have like so many tips. So but you know, we're gonna try and keep it to a few this episode.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
when
we'll
we start
definitely keep
making-
coming back for more tips. Like there's always so much to learn. So it's
And like on our tutorials,
Yeah,
I mean, we may
tutorials.
not even be knowing we're giving a tip, and it's just like you guys may notice something. Whatever helps.
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like listening to podcasts. Like I listen to the Alex Tomei podcast. You know, This Sounds
Yeah,
Better.
I-
Shout out Alex Tomei.
Yeah, shout
and
out
that-
Alex
that whole
Tomei. Shout out
podcast.
This Sounds Better.
Yep.
Um,
Because every time I listen to it, I'm motivated. I'm like, I want to do not only the podcast, but I want to just be in the studio. I want to start producing. I want to start mixing. I want to like just be creative and like.
Yeah, I mean, I never really watched podcasts until like we started talking about them here at the school, Esteban mainly, and he told me about the Alex one. Like ever since I watched that, like that's all I listen to now, especially because I drive a long ways to get here to the school.
Yeah.
So I'll listen to 2-hour podcasts every day. I've listened to it like a lot, and like even if I don't even know who they are, like I may not like them or like the music they come out. Everyone has something you can learn from.
Yeah.
Every single person has something you can learn something
Learn
from.
something new every day. you
Yep.
know?
Yep.
I feel like definitely. I think podcasts like. I
Just
feel like
listening.
Podcasts in
listening.
different genres other than rap are like really
Yeah.
gonna help, because we're also like coming at this assuming that you're coming in from like a hip hop standpoint when you're producing and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like it has to deal with the hip hop world. But I mean, like if you keep listening, like our tips will definitely help you regardless. Like all our shortcuts and production tips will work across the board for you.
Yeah.
So
But I want to go back since I think we did a pretty good amount on all that. I feel like I feel like I feel like also something we've kind of mentioned it, but I feel like also don't be afraid to watch, even if you like. Well, I don't know. We were talking about watching the same video, but watch it back later on in time. I feel like because especially like a podcast like this, you might have to watch 2 or 3 times to really capture everything we were saying.
Yeah, like I know Producer Grind, for example. Shouts out to Producer Grind. They make you know, they do a lot of interviews and whatnot. And when I was just starting out, like I was watching these interviews, and there'd be like a lot of tips they'd be giving, and I'd have no idea what they were talking about, and I'd have to go back and like rewatch the entire interview from that one producer who was like shouting out like major keys, and you know, I just missed them at first because I didn't know the lingo or whatnot.
I think
But
take notes.
It's just like a movie. Just like a movie.
Yeah, you
A
gotta
good
rewatch
movie.
it to capture. Yeah,
A good movie is good the first time, but sometimes it's better the second time.
you pick up on little things.
Think
Yeah,
of more things. Like I've watched
honestly-
Breaking Bad 3 times.
what are you gonna learn from Breaking Bad? What are you gonna learn from Breaking Bad? No, but
Yeah, maybe that was a poor example.
yeah, that was for example. No, but
Set
I
yourself
think
up.
honestly, what I was gonna start doing now, especially because I'm kind of starting, you know, I'm starting to be more of a mix engineer. Like I feel like I'm more mix engineer heavy right now because I'm trying to like really mix a lot of stuff, like whether it be this podcast or like random sessions like I have like downloaded or a song or like anything I try to mix it. But I think taking notes, like I don't know, like literally getting a notebook and like write
do
down
that.
stuff. Yeah, like Vic
I do
does that.
all the time. I take notes for everything. Some of my teachers will even get mad at me when I'm taking notes because they're like, "Why are you writing that down?" It's
Yeah.
like, to me, this helps. To you, it may not mean anything, but to me, what you said right there triggers something in my brain. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna write it down so I don't forget.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're writing something down, it's engraving it into your brain.
Yeah. So I feel like like he said just right now, when you write it down, you're gonna remember it and you're gonna think about it when that moment comes up, and you're gonna be like, and if you forget, you have it on your notes. It's like so you could always come back. Like for me, what I was gonna do is like how do you like compress like I'll watch a bunch of videos and I'll write all their tips down, and then I'll kind of compare like, oh, what's everybody kind of saying, like the general thing, and then I'll kind of like do my own tweak to it. So that's how I'm gonna like do tips. And so I just want to learn from like a lot of people, write down tips, write it down, and that's how I feel like that's for me personally. I feel like that's something I gotta start doing is writing stuff down,
Yeah, it helps. It definitely
taking notes.
helps.
Yeah, but I think another thing to take notes about is experimenting with plugins. That was probably the trashiest segue I could have had, but I think because I think we were talking
I
about
was
that.
wondering how that was
That
going
was
to
the worst
transition.
Yeah,
transition ever, but-
that was terrible. No, but all right, well, let's talk about back to like making beats. Is experimenting with plugins. I feel like especially if you're starting out, use all the stock ones until you've literally used every single sound. Or
Because
you've gone
we've
through
all
every
like
sound.
blown money on like dumb shit before,
Yeah.
like trying to be a better producer.
Yeah.
Thinking like, oh, this plugin is like what I need to do
Mhm.
what I need to do. It's like, no.
Yeah.
Just focus on all the stock, all the basic shit first, and then
Yeah, literally
'cause
focus on all stocks.
If you can make what you want with the stock plugins,
Mhm.
then when you have access to all the other things, you're limitless.
Yeah.
But if you can make it work with what you have, then when you have access to what you want, you can make anything.
Yeah. Like I honestly, it's like learning fundamentals. You're just learning the fundamentals, and then that's when you start going with all the like crazy like,
exactly like learning
VSTs.
because like all the stock ones. I mean, I'm not all of them. Some of them will forever be a go-to, but like whether it be reverb or delay or whatnot, there might be crazy delay plugins you really want.
Mhm.
But learning the fundamentals of that basic delay plugin, learning what each knob does, like learning how that affects the sound and everything is like super key before you buy anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because if you like if you learn what attack does, delay, and all those basic knobs that are on every single plugin, almost every VST, there's the envelope for all that stuff. It's the same on every single plugin. So
Mhm.
once you can learn what every knob does, you're not, you don't have that barrier stopping you from using plugins. You can use anything you want, and you'll know how to use it without.
Yeah,
using
because you're gonna get an expensive ass plugin and think, oh wow, how do I approach this?
Yeah.
It's like driving, like what George was saying, like driving a car. Like once you learn how to drive a car, you pretty much can step into any car and drive it.
Yep.
Maybe it takes you a little while to find the defrost or to find this, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's the same thing, and you know how to drive.
Those are great. That's probably the
Analogy.
best. That's probably the best one you've said so far.
Thank you.
Well, it's not even yours.
Shout out
it's
George.
Yeah, it's not even yours.
Shout out George.
No, but
Taking
that-
credit out here.
No, that's really smart. Like, that's a really good way to put it. Is learn the basics and fundamentals. Then that's when you can start experimenting with all the other stuff. But
And even the VSTs too.
yeah, VST is definitely like the way. Like, there's so many knobs. If you have Electra, I personally have Electra. Like, if you have Electra, there's so many knobs you could. There's like ARP. There's like sustain, delay, like and its own reverb. Like, there's so many things you can mess with, and this like, honestly, like.
It's limitless.
Yeah, like I don't know. I feel like just buy not even have to buy. There's stock ones that have all those like little like stock things that come with it. There's stock plugins for every DAW. Well, stock VSTs not plugins, but stock VSTs that you could just mess with and any like. There's so many tweaks and knobs that you could just mess with and make a whole new sound. So don't like worry
Don't
about.
be afraid to sound design.
Yeah.
Because I mean that's
what I was trying to
something we
say,
don't
yeah.
we don't have anyone on our team right now that sound designs, but basically it's like
Well, Jimmy. Shout out Jimmy.
Jimmy sound designs.
Well, we all.
I mean,
For our class electrical music production,
uh
that whole class was on synths and the envelopes and what each knob does and how to create sound. So there's a lot on it, but Jimmy knows a lot, and Jimmy knows a lot. Bro.
yeah, and that'll help you.
Shout out
Like
Jimmy.
he said, how like basically the same knobs are on like every plugin. Like once you learn those knobs, it's like start applying that to different synths, different VSTs. It'll really make the difference, and it'll be super unique.
Yeah. This is a side note that I just randomly was looking at the time. I was like, oh, it's like an hour or something. I want to know what everybody kind of like thinks in the comments. Is like, do people really enjoy either like long for me personally, I like long podcasts because I have so much. Sometimes I have a lot of like time before I'm like in the studio. Like for me, I take the bus to hear school or / studio, whatever you want to call it. But it takes me like 45 minutes, and I'm like listening to podcasts. But what I'll do is like listen to half of it maybe that time, and then listen to the other half when I get back on my way home.
So what I do in a 2-hour podcast, it takes me an hour to drive here, 1 hour driving up, and then 1 hour driving back.
So I just want to know basically like, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be like half and half. I don't know why I'm even asking you because there's gonna be so many people like probably, or maybe one person only watching this.
I think.
But just leave in the comments like, do you like the longer podcast or do you like the shorter podcast? And I guess we'll find out by who listens to the what I just said because it's like an hour into it.
I think
So
definitely like our biggest fear starting was like how long should we make
Yeah.
these? You know, because like if you don't know us like for any achievements or whatnot,
Yeah,
you
why
might
would
not
you
want to
listen
like
to us
tune
for
in
so
that
long?
long.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's all up to you. Like if there's certain topics that hook you in, then of course you're gonna listen for longer.
yeah, I mean, and the name says it all. We're the rough mix.
Yeah.
We're not professionals. We're not someone who's in the industry, but we are. Hopefully, one day we will be up there, and it's just all the process that we're all gonna grow together.
And that's why I came up using these analogies, because also we're trying to explain things to where if you don't really know what we're talking about, to make it where you do know kind of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we don't all use the right vocab. I mean, you know, if someone who's a real pro is watching this, they may think that we're using the wrong words.
Yeah.
But well, maybe we are, but we're not. Because if everyone knows what we're talking about, then it works.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah,
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely,
Like,
yeah. But back to the VSTs, is experiment with them, but also don't be afraid to one day after you. I say don't spend any money other than purchasing a DAW. Don't spend any money. Like, don't spend any more money on buying VSTs, plugins. Definitely learn everything first, and then go ahead and buy stuff.
Like FL Keys has been used in so many hit songs, it's ridiculous.
That's all I
FL Keys
use.
is
That's
fire.
literally,
There you go.
and I don't even use VST stuff.
Like you don't need
samples.
Keyscape by Spectrasonics
Oh,
to
no,
be like
no.
you know the
No.
best. You
FL
know.
Keys, right click that top thing, broken piano. I mean, that's
Fire.
best one right
Citrus.
there.
Citrus
Shouts out.
fire.
So like let's actually go around and like name the VSTs that are your favorite to use.
Stock.
Stock or bought.
Oh, let me say one more thing. If you're gonna buy VST, watch videos on
Yeah,
it.
watch videos.
things, read
Oh,
the
yes.
reviews. like do your homework on it because
Yeah.
you're spending money. So
Don't just watch
Free
one.
trials.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's trials on
Free
some
trials
stuff.
are key.
Some stuff there's trials.
And also, like, if you have citrus and like you want like this specific sound, like use Google, use your resources. People put out free downloads for
Yeah.
like their envelopes and their settings, and like it's just the settings for them, and you can
Yeah.
people like
Just a
sometimes-
preset, yeah.
it's just the presets.
You could look up like
There's free ones.
I
I,
don't
mean,
know,
Metro
presets.
Boomin put one out for Razer.
yeah.
Like his is huge. I mean, people put out on Splice, on anywhere you can get them. The free ones. I would stay away from cracked things because they may mess up your computer and stuff.
Yeah, no.
But I'm just saying.
That's hilarious because I remember when I had started, there's like so many people that have like FL8, right? But it's like the cracked one.
It's
But
'cause-
everybody
yeah.
uses it still. So it's like I don't know. But then there's also like
I think everyone's like cracked FL to start off.
oh
Every
yeah.
FLA that
My brother
every
bought
big
FLA.
producer has is
That's crazy.
is cracked.
Yeah.
And that's why those producers can't even like I'm not gonna get too into it, but sometimes they can't even track out their songs because all their plugins are cracked
Yeah.
and like it won't work on other people's computers.
Especially when you collab and you send FLPs, it's like, what am I
Yeah.
getting
Yeah, like I
right
can't
now?
even
Yeah.
yeah, there's nothing coming out.
Exactly.
But I think definitely try everything stock at first, and like they don't have like they don't okay. If you can't get the sound that you want, and you've tried literally everything, and you've messed with knobs, and you've done everything, and you've done a little bit of sound design and messed with and tweaked with knobs, then go ahead and get yourself like not even an expensive one. Don't go straight up for like Omnisphere or like Keyscape. Like go for something a little cheaper. Like I think Electra is like not. I mean, get the first Electra.
Purities, like 100. Electra, I mean, they've probably gone down by now.
Yeah.
Electra's a cheap one. I honestly don't know how much
Tone
that is,
2?
so I'm just taking your
I'm gonna
word.
go ahead and look that up. Go ahead and talk
But,
about something
um,
else. Let me look it up. Cause I
but-
bought it not that long ago.
Really?
Yeah, I'm waiting for it.
I mean, I've never bought a VST except for Gross Beat.
See, there you go. Look, you can get the like Tone Electra 2 for 150. That's still I feel like that's still a little too much. I
Yeah,
feel like
150
you don't.
is
I feel like you could definitely get something for like $50.
I mean, if you know this is what you want to do,
Yeah.
with the basics being said,
There is
if
free.
this
There is free VSTs though. There's free
Oh, yeah.
like free VSTs that there is out there. They're not gonna have like the biggest libraries, but there's definitely free VSTs, and then there's also free presets that come with those VSTs.
And
you
you'll see a lot
explore.
of those through either us mentioning them or
Yeah.
YouTube videos. I got put on by a lot of fire
Yeah.
free VSTs
Don't
and free
think-
plugins just from YouTube
Yeah,
videos.
don't think you need like Zaytoven's.
I was just gonna say that. Don't feel like you need the top of the line things to
Yeah,
make what
no,
you want
you definitely
because
don't.
at the end of the day, like all the big producers, they started with not all that money, and now
Mhm.
they have the money. Now they're buying it and they're making it work. But
Mhm.
you don't like. Not everyone starts with that. Not everyone's rich and has money to buy all this stuff. You gotta
And like at the same time too, it's like it is a business, so you do want to invest in your business.
Oh,
Yeah.
of course, yeah.
But everyone approaches it differently. So if we're just talking about starting out, barely any money to work with, the basics,
Yeah,
learning the fundamentals and going from there.
yeah, definitely for sure. Learn everything.
I think the comparison that you said, like people who play basketball and then
Yeah,
you go to the gym and you see that guy
literally
with
this-
all the new gear. He's got the
Yeah.
new kicks on, and then he's just like Stanley, like on The Office when he dribbles the ball.
Yeah, no, like that's definitely how it is. It's don't spend money unless you know how to use it.
Yeah, because like I know kids who like literally have the best shit and they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Like I've pulled up on some people and they've been like impressed. They're like wow, you can like just do this on a laptop, and they've gone over their friends' houses with like the whole Novation Key 48, like
Yeah.
the $700 keyboard and all this, and it's like you really like literally all you need is your computer, your basic DAW, stock plugins, you're good to go.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how. I mean, we are like, not saying that it's bad, but I mean, like we have access to like SSL boards and
Oh yeah,
all
Here.
that stuff here. But like
It's cool.
sometimes it's just like it's just as good to use my laptop than it is for me to use an SSL.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
If
I
not,
mean,
it's more convenient
Yeah, sometimes it's more convenient
to use the DAW to be in the box.
in the box to be in the box. Yeah, but yeah, don't feel like you're missing out on things because you don't have the rings and bells.
Mhm.
You know, you don't need all that. You make it work with what you have. Once you could do that, then you're limitless. You do anything.
Yeah, but to wrap up the VSTs things is learn everything what every
Well,
VST does.
let's go around and name like actually what
Like your
your
top
favorite
three?
VSTs
Top
to
three
Oh,
or
use.
okay.
so?
Mine. I'm gonna go ahead and say
Yeah, we'll go
mine.
top three.
I'm gonna go ahead and say top three.
VSTs, right? Any VST?
Top three VSTs.
It doesn't
Go-tos.
have to
just
be.
name go-tos. Who
Ne-
cares about the
Electra.
number? Huh?
Electra.
Electra
And
X.
Electra X, but get yourself a bunch of not the stock. They have cool stock ones. Don't get me wrong, but I've gone through everything. Because I had Electra on my PC and my Mac
The
now.
expansion packs for Electra
Yeah.
are always insane that
Mhm.
I've gotten.
They're
Yeah.
free. I mean, people make them.
Yeah.
You're not stealing them.
Reddit,
People
Reddit
are,
is
They're not
like
cracked
the best
either.
yeah, they're
place.
not
literally-
cracked. It's
it's
people
literally
are
just a
making them,
preset.
and then they're just sharing what they make.
Yep.
And
Just
shout out
literally-
to those people.
Yeah, shout out to
'cause
them because I wouldn't be making a lot of beats that I do. So, but definitely, I think my favorite, my go-to one, like every time I open up something, is Electra. I don't know, like I just like Electra, especially for me making melodies. If I'm like making a G-funk type beat, I'm usually kind of sampling probably something.
But that counts too. What VSTs?
For what?
Just in general, right? I mean,
Oh, in
the VSTs
general,
we're talking
yeah,
about. It's not just
no,
for
no,
melodies,
yeah,
right?
yeah, no,
Because I don't have.
It's like
that many.
VSTs in general.
yeah, just in general, Electra.
What else? Just throw two out. Throw two out
Electra. What's another one I use? Another one I've been using is Lounge Lizard. I use that for like.
Really good one.
I use that
there. Lounge
for.
Lizard.
Yeah,
have you heard
bro,
of it?
come
I've never
on,
heard
you've
of that.
never
It's,
heard
it's
of it?
like that's another cheap ass plugin
Yeah.
too. It's like $100. Basically, it gives you
Well-
all like these Rhodes keys, like jazz, really good in lo-fi hip hop.
It's
Yeah,
$200.
it's just really sick keys. Like if FL Keys just isn't cutting it, but you don't want to spend money on Keyscape, try Lounge
if
Lizard.
you're into R&B,
and they have a trial.
if you're into like R&B or pop or like like G-funk sounds like me when they use a lot of like Rhodes and keys and stuff, definitely check it out. They have it for free. I'm literally on the website right now. I'm on Lounge Lizard right now. They have try Lounge Lizard EP4 now for free, and it's literally free. I'm not sure how many days it's free, but
Well, I'd never heard of it. That's crazy.
yeah,
Definitely try that out.
I've heard of this for so long, but I just never really like used it until maybe like the last year. Like when I first started out, I was like, I always saw YouTube videos on these Lounge Lizard, and then I saw BC Works Beats with it. That's why, and I literally looked it up, and I was like, I'm not gonna pay for that, and I
That
didn't
was
get
probably
it.
one of my first VSTs because of Busy Work.
Mine was Nexus.
Nexus.
Mine was
Yeah,
like one of the
I
first ones.
missed that wave.
I just got Nexus like this year.
Not gonna lie, I cracked my Nexus back then. I still cracked now, but it's on my PC, not on my Mac. I don't have it on my Mac. Don't hunt me down, please.
But yeah, I mean those VSTs are also like applying to the type of music you make.
Yeah, definitely. I think for literally this Lounge Lizard, Lounge Lizard's first, then Electra. No, Electra first because it's more like diverse. You can make anything with it.
They're both great.
Yeah, but Lounge Lizard is more like R&B, pop, and like old like '90s kind of whatever, like
I didn't-
Rhodes and
yeah,
keys
I
and
got
stuff
you.
like that, like type hip hop stuff. So
So those are you.
those
two
are my
go-to?
two probably. Yeah.
Me go? I'll go.
Yeah.
I would say. Fuck. Well, I don't really use
could be stock or-
VSTs
yeah.
to make melodies. I don't make too many melodies, but I would say
You can
like
do plugins too.
Slice X on FL. Like if you're using samples, like that's fire. That's
Yeah.
the best,
I've been using Fruity Slicer,
and it's
I
free.
feel
That
like-
one's all right. So
What's
Slice
the difference?
Slice X is Fruity Slicer. Fruity Slicer is a part of Slice X, but Slice X has additional parts where you can you chop up all the samples and you can assign it to the keys on your keyboard, and you can even play it as an MPC. There's a special mode to do it, and it's really easy. I mean, I could probably you'll see it on my tutorial when I make like a sample thing, but like it's an MPC. If you don't have an MPC, you don't need an MPC to make sample beats.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that
If you want to be cool and make MPC, get yourself one of those like little pads, one of those
or like
and,
in a Kai.
yeah, and then like a controller and like just set it up like that. If you really want that effect, I know my brother's like that. He needs like the physical.
Yeah, and it's
stuff.
true. Like I don't need that, but to me, when I'm smacking on something, when the beat's playing,
Yeah.
it just feels cooler. And just because it feels cooler makes me. It's just more
Be
fun.
cool.
It's just
Yeah.
more fun. And it
Yeah,
just
it's
makes
like
me
it's like
feel
that
good.
term like feel good, like
You look good. You feel
yeah,
good.
look good, feel good. There you
Yeah.
go.
And that's like a huge thing in music is like just like almost dumb tips, like having an outfit when you're starting a beat or something like
Oh, damn, I
that.
never realized
actually
that.
helps.
Now, who was that guy? There's a famous guy who says that he can't make a beat when he has no shoes on.
Yeah, that's Big Head.
He says that?
Yeah,
Oh, dang.
I
hella
tried.
weird.
I tried it because I watched the podcast. So I was like, all right, fuck it. And then I got in and I made like 10 beats or something.
With shoes
with
on?
shoes
yeah,
on?
with shoes on. I was like, all right, let me
Wow.
put a whole fit. And I've noticed, honestly, without me even realizing it, like days where I've just been like chilling in my underwear, like making beats and shit, versus like me coming home and like having a full outfit
your
on and
undies,
not
huh?
even thinking about it. Like, I am a little more productive, and I think
Wow.
it's like a subconscious thing.
Nah, when
Also,
I
like
make
they
a fire
say-
beat, I put some fresh clothes on. Like I went to the club. I'm listening to it like full blast.
Tuxedo.
My mom's all yelling at me.
They say that they also say like if you have a messy room, you have a messy conscience.
Mm.
You
That
know,
was pretty
be
clean.
very organized.
you have to. It just helps.
Yeah.
And then my second VST, man, Edison. I mean, I use
Yeah.
Edison like a lot because I have a record player at my house that I plug into my interface and I have it hooked up to Edison. So when I'm playing like a real record or vinyl, like it's going straight into Edison and I'm recording my spot on Edison. Then I'll go in and I'll find the perfect loop on Edison. I mean, you could do it on FL, on any DAW, but in my opinion, the way Edison is set up and how Slice X is set up and how they're kind of linked,
Yeah.
it just works better for me. And that's part of my workflow. So it works for me. That's what I'm going to do, and
Yeah.
that's what I like to do.
I feel like I feel kind of bad that this is like a FL only type of thing that we just said.
Well,
but
these VSTs work.
No,
on
no,
it,
yeah,
except like Edison and Fruity Slice X.
no, but
and
what I was gonna
whatnot.
say is I know one for Logic at least. That's stock. Alchemy, fire.
Oh, fire.
Alchemy is fire.
Oh, Logic,
Oh.
in my opinion, has the best
yeah,
stock VSTs.
yeah. Logic has definitely like crazy. They have like real instruments on there. Like
real, like they have VSTs that you would have to pay for, like
To
know, a
get
few
that sound,
Few
it's
years
literally
ago,
on
you had to pay for
Logic.
it, and now it's free, like
On
on
Logic,
Logic.
yeah.
And we talked a little bit about that in the
Yeah.
first
Yeah.
episode.
Logic is definitely. I feel like
Logic is really cool.
Logic's
but-
really good.
But
I
learned
I can't. I don't know.
that's because we learned on FL.
Yeah, that's why. It's just we've just grown to it.
Yeah, like I've tried to switch to Ableton Studio One. Haven't tried Logic yet, but like I'll be like maybe 3 days in, and I'm like I can't take it, and I just like jump back.
yeah,
into
you just
FL.
get. But also that's the thing too is you gotta be what you're comfortable with. You don't gotta just
Because
because
it goes back
you
to
see
your
Metro
workflow.
Boomin on his Razer laptop and he got FL doesn't mean you gotta go out and buy a Razer laptop and get FL. Like
Very true.
you just gotta work with what makes you feel like comfortable and like what you like.
Yeah, and I mean, right now, like we're talking about FL because we all use FL,
Yeah.
and like maybe everybody watching this or listening to this like may think that they need to get FL because all the big producers use FL right now.
Yep.
But it wasn't like that, and like I was saying, the reason why all those producers have FL8 is because like a lot of them are
They're cracked and free. Yeah.
cracked FL. Then people wanted to make beats, and that's what you were able to get online
Yeah.
for free at the time.
Yeah.
And like a lot of these people that we look up to now came from nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and-
it's like they had no money. They couldn't like actually go out and buy the full one, even if they wanted to.
Metro did, or at least that's what he said. I don't know, but supposedly Metro did buy it. Like he saved up money. And
Well, like
bought
not
it.
even Metro, like TM88,
Teammate, but they all use FL8 still.
Southside, all 808 Mafia.
They
Like,
all use FL8 still.
But this isn't like okay. So on just because I kind of know a little bit about like the Logic and Pro Tools, like on Logic, what stock is like literally all the sounds on there are fire, like they're real instruments that are really cool. Also Logic's Alchemy, they have what's the other one that you guys were talking about? It's like stock on
There's Alchemy, ES2, and then like just there's so many on
I
there.
forgot what
There's
they
so-
said it on the first podcast. If you guys didn't check that out, I know Andy said it.
Mhm.
But check out the first podcast if you haven't seen it. So, but Alchemy for Logic and ES2, I haven't really even seen ES2, but Alchemy for sure on Logic is really good. It's like it looks sort of.
like Nexus.
It's no, not Nexus. Alchemy doesn't look like Nexus. Alchemy looks sort of like.
Electra.
No. It looks like Omnisphere. It kind of looks. It
Oh,
kind of
yeah,
reminds me of
yeah,
Omnisphere. Yeah.
And it has a ton of like
Yeah, it has a ton of sounds. Ton of sounds.
I spent hours just looking for a sound on there,
Pro Tools
but it's,
has Expand too on there.
I would never use Pro Tools.
No. But I'm saying
not
as
use
a,
Pro
but I'm
Tools
saying
to
as a
make beats.
VS. No, I know people who literally buy Expand to put on FL. Like Expand, like that's like a cool VST. My friend has it. He uses
I've seen it in some
Yeah.
deconstructive videos before.
Speaking about another Poison or Poison, whatever from FL.
I've never used it.
Citrus on FL.
Citrus is the go.
fire. Yeah.
Citrus on
Sakura.
FL.
I like Sakura.
Citrus,
but
Sakura,
it
but
only
Sakura
comes with some
costs-
of them.
Sakura
Yeah, it only
costs.
comes with the highest edition.
Yeah, and
Um,
I talked about in the first one, like if you're using these plugins, like you have the basic version of FL, and it's like, oh, like these are demo. Make what you want to make, render it out,
Yeah.
and then that's how you keep it. Because when you try and like if you save your project and you trying to open it back up with
And-
that demo, it's
yeah.
not even going to be there.
Yeah, because the demo's
Oh,
done.
that's happened to me so many times.
such
and,
a
like, it
beginner-
doesn't
Yeah,
even
because
tell
I
you-
didn't know how to
thing
render
to
it out.
do,
Yeah.
you know?
That'll be in the tutorial though,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Jordan?
Content coming
Tutorial?
up,
Yeah.
lots of it.
Tutorial Tuesday.
Tutorial Tuesday.
Tutorial Tuesday.
Yep. Free Beat Friday. Yeah, y'all don't even know what's.
Yeah, you
y'all
guys
don't,
don't- yeah,
even know.
we're ready.
Y'all
we gotta
hearing this?
keep a lot under wraps for
y'all
now.
don't.
but, you
Y'all don't
know.
even know what we got planned. All right, that's all I'm saying. If y'all
Yeah.
into ping pong,
Oh
I'm
my
just
god,
kidding.
that's all we gotta say.
Nah,
people.
that's kidding. Nah, we might not do ping pong.
But yeah, so your VSTs are Slice X.
Slice X and Edison.
Yep.
But
Yours?
Yeah, those are my go-tos.
Yours, Jordan?
Use those on everything.
Just a recap.
Okay, so I have to list Omnisphere, but some plugins that I actually found recently that it's like, oh dang, like I wish I didn't spend that money back in the day on it on Omnisphere, is everything like pretty much on Industry Kits, which is made by Superstar O. IndustryKits.com literally has like these VSTs that are like 30, 40 something bucks, but like they come with like super high quality sounds. And like now some of them, I'll just like list a few, like Urban Flame, Infinity Fame, and I can't think of anything else on the top of my head, but those are two that I've recently purchased, and they're pretty much my go-tos. Like super sick bass lines, and some of them like super good keys and plucks. It's like definitely a good spot to like go if you're a producer on a budget. So yeah, Industry Kits I'll just list as one, Omnisphere, and then what's another one I use? I've used Electra like recently. I've started like using it, but I don't know how much that will continue. But yeah, I'll throw Citrus out there. And
Yeah.
Harmer. Harmer's a
Oh yeah,
great
Stock
one.
FL.
Yeah, Harmer's like, if you want to learn sound design on a budget, definitely go for
Yeah.
Harmer. That's probably the best one to use.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it sounds good to me. I personally haven't used Harmer. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't used it like at all. I probably opened it and I'm like, it looks too confusing. I turn it
Yeah,
off.
there's a lot of buttons and
Yeah,
knobs
so I,
and
like,
whatnot. That's why
freaked
it's
out.
like learn the fundamentals.
Yeah.
And like Harmer's like the gateway almost to like get into the crazy stuff. Like even Omnisphere doesn't have that much going on the front
Oh, no,
front
yeah,
cover
yeah.
on it. But I mean, like if you learn that, you'll be able to
Mm-hmm.
do pretty much anything.
Yeah, but another way to kind of get to work with music or to producing, make beats, and this is heavily what me and I think Victor kind of came up on, is sampling. Jordan maybe isn't too into sampling, but
I've done it a few times.
okay.
Well, yeah, we can talk a long time about sampling, and
Should we save
this
this
podcast
for another?
is already at an hour and 20 minutes.
So you don't like
So
that?
we'll wrap it
Well,
up
not
next.
that I don't like it, but we could make sampling a whole episode.
Oh yeah, we can.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do
Because
it.
I mean, we could talk for a long time about that.
I
So
think we'll do that.
Maybe we save it for the next
I'm
one.
just saying, like, there's probably one person out there listening to this. He's like, "Dang, they're about to talk to sampling. Now I gotta wait till next week." And it's like,
We can
dang.
talk a little bit about it. I'll throw in some things that
Go ahead, just give
I'll
advice.
throw in
Like
a- so-
literally. Oh, Jordan's so mad because he doesn't sample, so he's so uninterested now.
No, it's
Just go
not
ahead and
even
cut his
that.
mic,
I'm
cut
like,
his mic.
oh, here's another 40 minutes.
No,
Cool.
just cut his mic. Like literally. Okay, look from right now. Look, where are we at? 36. Okay, at 40, stop. Ready?
You got 4 minutes. Go.
Go.
Okay,
4 minutes. Go.
Okay, I'll go.
And I'll talk a little bit too. Go
I'll talk
ahead.
a little bit. Okay. So for sampling, anytime I look for a record, the first thing I do is, like, the first tip I can say is play your whole sample through. Because you may not like the beginning, but the last 5 seconds may be what you're trying to look for. So always listen to your whole sample, and then, like, be creative. When you're listening to the sample, slow it down a little bit. Speed it up a little bit. Lower the pitch. Raise the pitch.
Well, if you're doing it on YouTube, I would suggest from sampling. There's you could
Yeah,
select
exactly.
the playback.
There's something on
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
You can do it on
But
there.
you can't
and, like,
change the pitch. It's like the time. So like the time that's like, it'll say like one time, but then put it to 75, or if you want it in half, go to 0.5, and if you want to speed it up, put it to 1.5, 1.25. Experiment with the settings that come on YouTube. So it's kind of like it's like
a record player.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
a record player, but it's
yeah.
on YouTube digitally, and you could just skip and keep going through, and you do it way faster than vinyl.
Yep. And
But I'm not
then,
trying to hate on vinyl. Vinyl's cool.
No, yeah. I mean, I use YouTube and vinyl, but
Yeah.
another thing is this will help too if you're using samples. Know how to count bars, so you can count like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and by doing that,
I think people know how to count. Like,
yeah. But like to count in the metronome, to
I
get
know,
the
just
clicks.
kidding.
Because that helps. I mean, if you're looking for a sample, you want it in 2 bars, 4 bars, 8 bars, like that, and it helps piece everything together easily. And when you're looking for the samples, if you find that 4-bar loop or even 8-bar loop, I never used to do 8-bar loop, but you do.
I use like 12.
and I never did that
That's cool.
till here. And like just find what you like from it, and when you're sampling, you want to, well, what I do is you want to keep that same vibe from what you're sampling, but throw your twist on it where it's different, but you're still keeping those flaws that make that sample, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me. Yeah, I heard it.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I do it. And
All right.
then
That's your 2 minutes. I'm gonna give my 2 minutes then. I just cut you off because that was like 2 minutes, and I'm gonna do 2 minutes. We promised them 40. Oh, it's 39. All right, I got a minute and a half. All right, here we go. Ready? I'm gonna talk really fast. So what I do is no, I'm just playing. But no,
that's a horrible. I thought he was
Might as
serious.
well
no,
just
no,
cut
no.
it
No,
right
like
now.
literally. No, hey, look, you're wasting my time. You're wasting my time. You're wasting my time. You're wasting my time. Look. All right. About sampling. Don't be afraid to keep the vocal in there. I think a lot of people are kind of afraid, but I feel like it adds a cool effect. Sometimes you could pitch it down, cut out just the vocal part, pitch it down, pitch it up.
That's the
mess
best.
with the EQ, put a low pass filter on it. Like
That's the best part of the samples.
yeah,
vocals.
like having a vocal, like, especially when girls sing, like, and they're like, it's like old, and it just, I don't know, it makes you feel good. So like,
Yep.
keep that sample. Don't be afraid to use vocal chops from a sample. Don't be afraid to layer samples with like different sounds from the different part of the sample, if that makes any sense. To the same record, but a different part of the loop. Like find your loop for the melody, and then find another part you could layer on top of the loop, and that's all the time I got because it's 6:40.
Yep.
And
We'll get into it, but
this has been the Rough Mix Podcast. My name's Estevan, produced by Trunks, whatever you want to call me, probably Trunks, but just call me Trunks. I got my man Vic.
I'm Victor, and I go by Izzy V.
Jordan, Coach Koopa, signing out.
And it's cool.
All right, peace out.
Rough Mix Podcast. We out. Actually, we're not out. I want to go ahead and shout out. We never shout out the 4 episodes we've done. 3. We've never shouted out our like social media for the podcast.
Oh,
out.
you're right.
We've never done it, so
Throw
it's
it
like
out.
might as well do it.
Shout it out once.
All right, we follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. All at Rough Mix Podcast, not at the Rough Mix Podcast. It's at Rough Mix Podcast, and you're gonna catch us on SoundCloud,
All platforms.
all platforms. But that when you see this, it'll all be up. All the links, you'll
Yep.
see everything.
And then all our personal links, our
Everything.
personal everything.
Just Google it. We'll be on top.
Yeah, we'll be there. You guys will see it.
That's
so,
that's some hard stuff. We'll be on top.
I know how to be
I
on
looked
top,
up the Rough
so
Mix
we'll be
on our
top.
after. Well, before we even uploaded. That's right. Yeah, we haven't even uploaded, but I looked it up, and there's already like the Rough Mix. I guess it's a movie. But
We ain't
we're
worried
gonna
about
take them
them.
down.
Yeah,
Don't worry
we're
about
not
it.
the movie.
We'll
we're the
take them
rough
down.
mix.
We're the Rough Mix. Yeah.
You'll know when you know.
Yep. All right.
All right.
Well, this has been the Rough Mix Podcast, and we're signing out. Peace.
Peace.